We had a great culture, and then
yeah.
for that to be ripped away was just soul
mate.
destroying,
Yeah.
absolute soul destroying. You know, and then obviously my marriage breaking down at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so that was it. I was down. My friends knew it.
Yeah.
You know, my close friends knew it. You know, to the point.
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions that belongs in a different galaxy altogether.
Welcome back to the second half of the second episode of the Subs Bench. Just want to thank Timmy for his raw honesty. I think we'd have to call that in the first half there. The mood in the room dropped massively, didn't it, towards the end there?
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good way,
yeah.
It was. Very insightful.
Yeah.
It's what, I guess, guys at this level, when they get major injuries, go through. It's real life, isn't it? Like, you're not on $1 million contract or anything like that. You've got family, you've got physical jobs like a lot of us do, so a heavy injury like that, it really wrecks you mentally.
So it's not nice for someone to have to go through, but it's good to hear the story.
Yeah, it's very good. Someone that might have been through the same thing, that's struggling with the same things, might take something out of it and might help them.
Hopefully.
So.
And look, I'm going to throw this out there because I'm pretty sure Timmy would be fine with it. If anyone has gone through something like that, a similar kind of injury, I'm pretty sure Timmy will be the first person to say it's fine. If they want to get in touch with us, we can put them in touch with Timmy. And I think, as you said in the thing, it's good to have someone who's been through something as a reference.
Just relate to them so much.
Is this normal after 3 months? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that?
Yeah.
Timmy will be fine with that, I think.
100%.
So I know he's fine. Actually, he's given us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So Timmy's fine with that.
Timmy's
If
fine
anyone wants to get in touch and get us put in touch with Timmy, then we'll sort that out. Second guest, second half, Roger Hunter. Good to have you along.
Thanks for having me.
And hosting us, actually, at Wynnum Golf Club in the boardroom.
Yeah. Shout out the golf club.
Shout out the golf club. All right, so you've been across here for quite a while now. I think you said you came across
2004.
Yeah,
is when I
2004.
came. Yeah,
So 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Long stint.
Yeah.
And where did you first head?
My first club was Taringa Rovers.
Yeah.
BPL.
Yeah.
Under Alan Waller.
Was that before Joe Fennick?
Yeah, that was
Joe came in
before
after
Joe.
that.
Yeah, so that was under Alan Waller. I came in with about 4 or 5 games to go in a relegation battle. Made my debut away at Rochdale, where we nabbed a 3-3 there. And then that was the old school time of when you used to have the promotion relegation playoff. And we played Brisbane Olympic in that. They were at Division 1 side, and we played them home and away, and we beat them both games and stayed in the Premier League, and Olympic stayed in Division 1.
Yeah, how good were those days?
Yeah, so
that
was kind of my first experience of Australian soccer.
Soccer, man.
Go ahead, goal.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was it. That was when I first came out. And
Yeah. And how long did you stay there?
I stayed there for the next season, 2005, and then after that went over to Brisbane Force.
Now, you touched upon a story when we were talking before we came on air, from when you played at Taringa, involving a UQ game.
Yeah, so powers of social media. I learnt it at a very young age, moving over here and not really knowing anybody. But there used to be the old school Taringa Forum. Everybody used to be beyond that. It was run by Tillo. It was the old school threads, where where it would thread out and thread out and thread out.
This is before Facebook and everything.
This is way before Facebook.
Unbelievable it was.
Yeah, it was
good for a laugh.
It was brilliant. Everybody was on it.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. Everybody's on it, and people have tried to replicate it ever since, and it probably hasn't been at that level, to be fair. We played UQFC. Lads
Local
going through
derby.
on goal, local derby.
Is it?
Yeah.
St. Lucia.
It's just literally around the corner.
Yeah.
And I've tackled this fella, and as people probably know, in my particular way. And I've hit him hard, and I kind of caught his plant leg, went straight through, completely broke his leg massively. Ambulance called, all that sort of stuff. I won the ball, didn't even get a yellow card. The ball went out for a throw-in. So from an English point of view, it was a fairly fair tackle. From an Australian point of view, I was the biggest thug ever.
Yeah.
At the time, just moved over. I was working for Amart Sports in Drapilli on one of the floor. First job in Australia.
Stuck in the high shelves.
And yeah, stuck in the high shelves. Yeah.
Dusty was stuck in the low ones.
Yeah. And that was what I was doing. So yeah. Anyway, the lads from Taringa sent me a text on my Nokia phone and said,
3315.
yeah, it was one of those ones.
Interrupted your game of Snake.
Yeah, Snake 2.
Snake 2 at that time.
And said, you need to get on this Taringa forum. And these lads, UQ players are bagging you out. So I dialed up. On the computer. Did that one and got on the Taringa forum after 20 minutes of my connection getting through, and stupidly signed in on my own name and saw all these forums.
No one does that.
That number 5 from Taringa Rovers, he's a thug. We know where he works, we know where he lives. Next time we play against him, we're going to break his leg. He didn't say sorry. He was laughing about it afterwards, etc., etc., etc. And they were pasting me, and I was just like, well, fuck this. If they're going to give me a pasting, they're going to get something back here. And I commented under my own name, Roger Hunter.
Yeah.
With your address on it. No.
Phone number, etc.
Credit card details.
And I just replied and said, well, if you know where I work, tell the lad to come and see me. I work at Amart Sports. I'll give him a free pair of shin pads for the ones I broke.
That is brutal. That is
The hockey ones, but
Yeah.
the sock.
The Sondicos.
the ankle brace.
I thought that's the least I could do. Poor lad, he broke his leg. Give him a free pair. I'd probably smash the other ones in half. Anyway, that was it.
Bit of banter.
I was trying to be funny, but when I think about it now, that was just the wrong thing to say, and it wasn't funny.
Probably.
A little bit.
Definitely. So just bang, post after post after post after post, and it was a red rag to a bull. And I had to call up Tillo and say, listen, mate, you need to take this down because it's getting out of control. Anywho, I left Taringa and went to Brisbane Force. Given my physique and frame, John Ogden thought it'd be a good idea to play me at right fullback for my excellent engine up and down that flank.
Wrong.
And
What's the go for right fullbacks?
And Taringa got relegated from the BPL. I went down to Cat 1 to play at Force, and there was probably 400 to 500 people there on that Sunday afternoon of 38 degrees at UQ on that awful field that you can't see the lines because there's so many leaves there. And,
the one down by the river? Or
yeah, by the river, yeah. And I just got absolutely pasted by these people from the first minute to the last. At half time I was like, oh thank God, but then they went to the other side and just gave me another pasting, and we got smashed. We lost 4-0. It was just awful. I'm walking off the field, quite angry, and then this lad's laughing at me, and I said, what the fuck are you laughing at? I'd had enough by then, and I saw the bloke. It was the bloke whose leg I broke, and he had a scar basically from there to there, from knee to ankle. Told me that he nearly lost his leg, gangrene and all that sort of stuff. So it was a pretty harsh lesson in that banter side of things, and maybe taking things too far on the internet. And unfortunately, that gave me a bit of a reputation from there on in, which has, as these guys will probably agree with, has kind of stuck with me ever since. Really.
Yeah, it's funny, and it well, not funny, but do you not find that social media in particular, and we'll kind of veer slightly away from football, but it follows on from what you're saying, mental health issues and things like that, which we've already touched upon in the first half, and I think this particular episode is going to touch upon them again. Things like mental health issues and depression and stuff like that, they're a lot more prevalent in this past decade. Okay, and it's around about the time that social media has become taken off. Facebook was maybe 12 to 15 years ago, but really since everyone got it 10 years ago. So now there's the people who've got things, there's the people who've not got things, there's the people who lie about things, there's the people who put their dirty linen on social media.
But there's faceless people as well.
And there's a lot of ways that people can create problems for other people. Like if you say something, it can stick with someone, and I might put something out there about Roger, a bit of a joke. That might be something that Roger's had a problem with since he was 5-year-old, and he just can't get rid of it. And now I'm putting it in a public domain and causing real problems for him internally. But everyone's laughing, so you think, oh, it's great, we'll keep going with this, and it can quickly spiral. And I think that you know, and I'm throwing this out. This is not a statistic that I'm, you know, aware of anything, but you know, like the amount of suicides in this last 10 years, especially young people. I think social media plays a massive part, and I think you got to be responsible on.
Can't get away from it, can you? Like back in when we all grew up, we're all similar ages. If you copped it at school, you go home. That's your reprieve. Like it's not following you home now. It does follow you home, doesn't it? And like,
It's in your pocket.
I'm not like I've been in a situation where I have given someone stick on social media, and you know, and I think we all have. But particular person took it. I found it as a bit of a light heart sort of bit of a dig, thinking like, you know, you've given me shit before, so I'm gonna, you know, didn't turn out that way. Picked a particular person, took it not the wrong way, took it offense to it. I honestly took it down. I spoke to the person. I wanted to make sure it was okay. Obviously, it might not be still okay. Who knows? It was said. It was wrong. I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong. But you don't actually understand how it can affect someone until it's affected someone. And that's like one thing that I've sort of taken away is like, that's just, I've sort of wiped that now from my kit bag. Like I'm not even, unless it's someone that I know personally, Matt Boyd, I'm not gonna. It's a lesson that people have to learn. And
There's so many different platforms now to use on social media. You know,
thing is, you never know. Sort of,
you don't know
what people they're going through as well.
Like,
so everyone's fighting their own battles. So it's just, you know,
and
just be kind to people.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's not nice.
You've got to build that trust with that person, though. You know, if you are going to take the piss,
at
least build it.
See, that's the thing. It's a bit different with like the boys that you play with every week, or whatever, or your mates that you see all the time. You can have a bit of banter, and you sort of know where the line is.
Yeah.
But with people who you don't know where that line is,
it's also the tone of it. You know, when you're in a football dressing room, as everybody knows here, the banter's flying non-stop. It's piss takes, it's fun. You know, it's that's the way it is. But when you write it comes across completely different. It comes across completely different
in their own context. And it's in their own tone that they
exactly. So it could be light-hearted, but the way it's read rather than the way it's spoken.
I think the thing that I took away from it is like, it would be something if I was sitting face to face with the person, I would say it. So it's not something that I wouldn't say, but I think that's what a lot of people come unstuck is they're saying, and same with you probably thought, well, if we came face to face, I'd probably say this, but there's a lot of people out there that say things that they'll say things online that no one would ever say to anyone's face. Like some of the stuff that gets said is horrific.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's a fine line. It's definitely a fine line.
There's a few of those around in football Brisbane.
Do you want to?
Plenty of those.
There's plenty of those.
I was going to come to this later. We were going to kind of go chronologically through the.
That's fine.
career,
We can still go that way if you want.
No. Because we're talking about that kind of thing now. You mentioned something before that probably has affected you more this year. So if you
I obviously we'll get to the why behind the behaviour later on if you wish, but I was copping it this year. Last year I went to Mount Gravatt, and I took all my boys with me from Eagles, my faithful, as you've had in your coaching, coaching things, you trust. And this one particular player, friend of yours who you've coached, that's the way it is, was just blasting me week in, week out. Why have Mount Gravatt appointed this guy? This guy's an awful coach. He's achieved nothing, etc., etc., etc. And it was on the Football Brisbane website. On the Football Brisbane website for everybody to see, for my peers to see, for my friends to see, for my own players to see. Every week he was just absolutely smashing me, and it was killing me on the inside. Like absolutely killing me. I was brave faced and I was just liking it, to show that it wasn't affecting me. But deep down, with the personal problems I was having at the time, I was struggling with it.
And I think that's what we're saying. When you like it back, or you have a little comment back, and you've got your players. So I remember the conversation. I remember reading and thinking, "No, it's getting a bit hairy." This.
And the funny thing is, it actually took me to post on the SEQ football community. It took me to post on there saying, like, I'm not sure if you guys are aware.
I remember.
Football in Australia is the only club with no mental health program.
Yeah.
Okay. So Football Queensland doesn't have one. Football Brisbane doesn't have one. None of them have them. The AFL, the cricket, everything has it, but football in Australia. And I shared the Royal Team Talk, if you've seen that, with the ex-footballers and the Prince and all that sort of stuff. And I shared that, and I said, for those who are battling mental health, I've had my own struggles of late. Watch this, and it got about 100 likes on that thing, and the lad who was actually giving it to me actually liked that post, and I think that was the catalyst for him to go, hold on a minute, I think I've probably taken it a bit too far here, and he actually stopped after that. That's what it took for me. It took for me to be quite open,
and vulnerable as well,
amongst my amongst again my peers of football, for him to leave me alone. And people look at me, and I played aggressive, I coach aggressive, so therefore they think I'm a fairly aggressive person. But you know me off the field, I'm not that way in the slightest.
Did you find, like, through that whole time where you said it was like a weekly thing where you were copping it, like, did you find that, like, you had your own crew that was sort of going into bat for you there? Or
I had some players. I had some players back me up, and some people back me up. But I didn't want them to, because it opens a can of worms,
and then it drags it out.
Especially from my previous experience, of all these comments coming. I just didn't want that. I just wanted him to stop, basically.
Just wanted the whole thing to end, and no one talk about it. Yeah, get away from this 2 or 3 days.
It got to the point where Matt Gravatt, we weren't getting the results we should have got with the team that we had, and I was thinking, oh God, here you go, I'm going to get it again.
Were you thinking at the end of, not at full time whistle goes, you're, for fuck's sake, another draw, we've been beaten on. But there must be a point in that next hour or two where you're sat there thinking, fuck, it's going to come.
Yeah,
is it tonight or tomorrow?
The Football Brisbane results come in, you see them there, and then that's it. You're waiting for the comments. Yeah. You're waiting for it. And it's just horrible, mate. I just dreaded it every time we had a loss. I just dread this one particular person. Just bang, he's going to be straight on me.
I sort of wonder, and I just said about, like, people in your camp, but I sort of wonder why no one from the other side might have, like, piped up and said, "Hang on a minute, like, leave it alone."
A few people did.
Did that happen?
I think it did, but at the same time, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, I think everyone assumed when Rog went to Mount Gravatt that Mount Gravatt were the team to beat in Cup 1. And we've all seen, when we went to Holland Park, I think everyone thought they were going to run away. And at the beginning of the season, we had a slow start. Look, it's human nature. If you're in the other camp and you're not in Mount Gravatt, you're quite happy that they're not winning games. You're thinking,
it's easy to pick a bloke when he's down.
And on paper, with the players I brought in and the players that came with me, on paper, we should have won that league with 22 out of 22. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way on the pitch. And I'm a smart enough bloke to realise that's on me. The buck stops with me. I'm responsible for those results. That's fine, but I don't need to be reminded of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not constantly.
I don't need to be constantly reminded that I'm failing. I already know I'm failing, and I know that I failed there.
But especially at our level, like, it's not life and death. It's local football as well.
That's the hard thing, I think, is, like, it's a at the end of the day, it's a hobby. Like, everyone gets a little bit of cash to sort of for their time,
but we play or we coach because we love doing it. It's not for anything else.
And that takes the love out of it. When
it does.
It does
take the love out of it, doesn't it?
And that's why I left.
And there's a big difference between being on the field and copping it from, like, an opposition supporter who's just there to have a good time, and then copying that every single week from one particular person.
As a player, I didn't mind it. I played games in the UK where I was copying it from the sideline, and I used to bet them that the striker I was marking wouldn't finish the game. I liked that type of banter as a player.
You thug, Rog.
But in terms of when you're on social media, it's just you don't need to read it.
I think as well, I'm slightly moving away from the social media, but we're talking about it's not professional, it's not life and death or anything like that, but it's pretty draining.
It is.
It's draining when you got that kind of thing going on. I know that when we were at Albany Creek together, I was drained. Like, I just had twins. Well, I didn't give birth, but they're 4 or 5 month old, and I'm in the car on the way, and you're almost trying to psych yourself up for 2 hours to put on a show for your 16, 17, 18 players and coaches to think, right, I'm alright, I'm good. And it got to the point halfway through the season, I think we lost to maybe it's the Gap or something in a cup game.
In the cup,
and I was sat on the bench, and it was the lowest I've ever felt in football. And I sat there and I just thought, I cannot do this anymore. I'm just on the bottom here, like mentally on the bottom, in football terms. And I said to my assistant Molly, so I'm going to call it a day tonight. I can't put up with this anymore. And he just went, he said, I'm glad. He says, because I've been the same for weeks. And I was like, thank God for that. And
with no disrespect to the Aussie boys in the room, being English is completely different to being Australian. Football is a way of life in England. Alan Waller, my first coach in Australia, said to me, he goes, "You've got to realise that in Australia, football's pastime. In England, it's passion."
Yeah.
So for me, and probably Ben will understand, it's every day for me. You know, you guys, you have a bit of a switch off, but for me, it was every day. I had that drilled into me by my parents, by my grandparents. You know, the first thing you did when you got home from work, you put Sky Sports News on, you watch the football news for the day, you watch the football in the night, you go to the pub, you talk about football, you're training, you're playing, you're at the pub. It was just non-stop football. And I've tried to have that in Australia as well, and then when you're not enjoying it, and then you're getting slated every week as well.
Yeah, I will say
I felt that for the first time.
Yeah, and Albury Creek was mine, and look, I have to say the support I got from, say, the president and the TD at the time was spot on. I couldn't do it anymore. I was just drained. It just wasn't the experience I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of them things, you know, and it's sad when you get to that point where you just think, you know, this is on top of me now. You know.
How do you think you get out of it?
For me, I had to leave to get out of it. I wanted to see out the season, but Gravatt had other plans. That's fine. That's their choice. You know, I was honest to them. They are honest to me. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But I needed to step back. I actually called Ben and said, you know, how did you find the transition of being a head coach to being an assistant coach? And that's something that, you know, I'm in progress of working on. So, you know, I still want to be involved in football. Don't get me wrong, but I want to get back to enjoying it again. You know, I struggle with leaving Eagles big time, and that's what contributed towards my problems.
Yeah, so talk about that, because every time we played against your Eagles team, it was physical, it was tough, it was always a battle, and you never went in that game thinking we're going to roll these. Whereas other teams you did. We was in Holland Park.
Never felt comfortable.
Never. You always thought, here we go. So I was very surprised that, would you call it a different direction that they went? What did they do?
Look, it wasn't the fact that they wanted to go a different direction. That's fine. That's their choice. It's how they went about it which upset me the most.
Yeah.
And that's what really affected me, because it was that rejection that I kind of got from them. You know, I'd given everything to Eagles for 6 years as a player and as a coach, spent my own money. You know, it smashed me, absolutely smashed me to bits. So I had these two feelings of rejection in 1 week.
Yeah.
And Eagles I just felt that they just shafted me. Absolutely shafted me.
Did they know?
Yeah.
What had happened in your personal life?
No, they didn't. They weren't to know, you know, because your personal life's your personal life. But here's me, who I feel I did a great job at Eagles in the QPL. You know, we finished above a few other teams. We took points at Rochdale, we took points at Sunny Coast.
Beat us.
Beat Capalaba, we beat Mitchie twice. Like, fuck, you know. We were the last team to score against Penny Power, you know, and we gave you a good touch up, and we worked so hard to the point that, you know, I had those 16 lads who, on Monday nights, we had extra training to get fit enough to play against these lads, because, you know, at the start of the year we were getting pumped, and we tried to play the QPL way, and we didn't have the team nor the budget to do that. So we got extra nights training, we got fit, we played 4-4-2, we played channel ball, and we just made it difficult. And, you know, I got above what the committee asked of me.
Yeah.
You know, so they said, just don't finish bottom, and you need to score more than 20 points. And I think we finished, you know, third or fourth from bottom and had like 26, 27 points. So we did really well.
Were you at that stage, now that you'd had a bit of a slow start, but then you kind of...
and we finished hot.
You're planning for next
I'm planning
season.
for next year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm planning for next year. And, you know, I'm asking players to stay, I'm asking this or that, the other. You know, when I was trying to get players, I was looking at the young players like Xander. You know, I sent Xander a message, I asked him to Eagles. You know, all these young boys who weren't getting a shout. You know, I was trying so hard to get a quality squad there. I didn't have the budget to do it.
Xander?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, because I saw Xander play for Olympic under-20s. And I was like, why isn't this lad getting a chance?
Yeah.
He's a young lad who's not getting a chance, as Timmy touched on before. I asked Dozzi, because I watched a lot of NPL under 20s, so I approached all these boys to offer them first team football.
Yeah.
Sadly, Xander was a bit greedy and asked for money, and I couldn't really give it to him.
We know all about that.
But
You can hear his pockets chinking over there.
at least he had the integrity to message me back, you know what I mean? And that's fine, fair enough. He went to Logan and did a great job there.
How far through were you, like
In the
talking to
process,
people?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I was already talking to people, and I was even talking to my under 20s coach Jared, who's taken over. Great bloke.
Yeah.
No personal issues with Jared, but the committee had already asked Jared to coach next year before even telling me, before even allowing me to reapply for the job, before put my case forward, say what I would like to do.
Meanwhile, you're building for next season.
Meanwhile, here's me planning for next season.
After how long?
After 6 years there,
6 years.
and going from a bottom of Cat 1 team to a competitive
Couple
QPL
promotions
team.
as well, wasn't
No,
it?
no promotions,
No
but we had a great FFA Cup run. We had a grand final loss on extra
And
time.
you would have had to be in a good position to be able to get that QPL license as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I brought in my own sponsors and all that sort of stuff. We had a great culture there. And then I got let known, not even by the committee themselves, but by Sid, football legend in these parts, via a phone call. Oh yeah, they're not keeping you on next year. Why? You've taken the club as far as you can take them. That's what they told me.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong.
Yeah.
Do it in face to face.
It's such a shame because I loved Eagles. That was my family.
Yeah.
I was there early on training nights, jumping in with the juniors. Everyone on Oxford Street knew who we were. We made such a family there, and then it was just ripped away from me without even having the chance to
Fight for it.
And the president didn't even call me, didn't even let me know. Secretary of the board, no one. I had to find out a phone call from Sid Camiolo, and I felt sorry for Sid because that would have been tough for him as well.
Yeah, because Sid had been around with you for full time.
And it's not just it wasn't just me that I got upset about. Lads who'd been at the club for a long time got shafted as well. Nat Robson, a good mate of mine who followed me to Mount Gravatt, was my assistant in QPL. Great bloke. Been at the club since he was 5 years old. 20 odd years there, and they didn't offer him anything. Well, they may have offered him, an assistant coach role, but never said thank you when he left. Never did anything. His dad's on a board there, life member. It just left a real sour taste in our mouths. And it was a shame because I didn't want it to.
There's a way to do things, and some people.
If they'd have taken me into a boardroom like this and said, "Hey, Roger, look, this is the direction we want to go. Thanks for your efforts," and done it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to speak to Jared. You know what? I'd shake your hand. I'd walk out.
Yeah.
Thank you for the integrity that you've shown me.
You could disagree with them, but
still don't have to be happy.
You still think
but given the respect that you deserve.
Exactly.
6 years is a long commitment, and like you say, you're already planning for next year.
Yeah.
Especially on zero, I'm only assuming
That we had a win bonus and that was it.
Yeah.
That we could only afford to play one player, and that was Joey Maxwell.
Minimal facilities.
Yeah.
You're playing. You've built sort of a culture to keep your good players there, and to attract players as well.
Yeah.
That's massive at this level because, as you said, everyone now, Xander, is chasing money. So, how do you build a club?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly, how do you build a club?
Yeah, you've got
It's
to be
culture. You
And
got to build a culture.
I feel I built that culture there. Gary had a great culture.
Yeah.
He built one. He left. Everything went with him. All the players left, etc., etc. So then it was up to me to rebuild it, and I built it. And, we talked about end of season trips last week. I had 30 on every end of season trip at Eagles.
I could imagine.
30. You know what I mean?
Didn't
we
you
had
have
that
to turn
culture.
up with your passport or something at times?
We used to.
No one knew where they were going.
The first one, we didn't know where we were going. They just had to meet at Memorial Park, and then we gave them basically envelopes. So they had to run around Memorial Park, find a beer each. They're all in cars. Down the beer. Once all the team was in the car, they got an envelope to where they were going. This is what Nat and I planned.
Yeah.
And then they had to do a series of tasks all the way up to the Sunshine Coast. And then they got points and a bar tab and all that sort of stuff. We have videos of players taking shits off crossbars at North Pine. absolutely everything, like completely naked, you know. It was like Matt and I were like Hamish and Andy, you know what I mean? We had the tracksuitos on, and
Where were you last week when we were talking about
yeah, you know. So
I want to
we had
shit off the crossbar.
I
want to hear more about it.
Our end of season trips were legendary.
Yeah.
You know, with 35 people in Cairns.
That's culture that you've created.
I nearly got arrested in Cairns on the last one, but I'll tell you that another time. But you know, we had a great culture, and for that to be ripped away was just soul destroying, absolute soul destroying. You know, and then obviously my marriage breaking down at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so that was it. I was down. And my friends knew it.
Yeah.
You know, my close friends knew it. You know, to the point where we went to Wide Bay for the last game of the season, and you know, outside people are going, "What's wrong with Roger?
Yeah.
What's wrong with Roger? Why is he acting like this?" And I was just self-destructing. I was taking it out on my family.
Yeah.
I was taking it out on my friends, my close friends. You know, just anger.
Yeah.
Constant anger. And it wasn't their fault, but that was the only way I could deal with it.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that we were talking about earlier on, about when people kind of start attacking people.
Yeah.
You attack the people that it's not involving, because you don't want that fight again.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of go to other people because it's almost safer to do it.
Yeah, you know, and there, and you know, a lot of the Eagles boys and that, and Burleys and all those sort of stuff, and all of a sudden I was a single bloke at the table with all my friends in couples, and I was just I dreaded it. I hated it. You know, I wasn't mentally in the right place. Thank you to Kahoot. His wife actually took me up to dance on that dance, because I was physically shaking. You can tell in my voice now I wasn't ready for that moment. And if I didn't have those mates, I would have been. I don't think I would have coped with it very well.
Yeah, and that's not something you want to go through. That's for damn sure.
No, and then I'm assuming Gravatt was almost alright, this is the year of redemption kind of, which possibly made it even worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think I made a mistake personally going to Mount Gravatt.
Yeah.
Because I tried to recreate what I had at Eagles.
Which you can't do overnight.
No.
Yeah.
And Grange came in for me and I said no. And Bayside came in for me and said no. And the reason I said no is because I didn't want to leave my mates.
Yeah.
I felt that with what was happening personally, if it had left them, I would have felt more alone.
Yeah.
You know, and so I tried to recreate the great thing we had at Eagles at Mount Gravatt, and the culture was there, but the results weren't, sadly. And you know, you can only have a good thing once, I reckon. And that should have been my time to just maybe step away from football, or you know, just reconsider my options and have a year off.
Like you said, it's such a big part of your life
since
you were so young.
A lot of people don't understand like how a lot of people will go from club to club and they don't understand that. Like I can totally relate to how you're feeling, because when I left East, I felt same sort of thing, bit blindsided.
Yeah.
No one really, Justin would understand as well, no one really sat us down for a conversation. We were basically just go find another club, you know what I mean? Like it eased the pain for me a little bit, because I was wanting to go play NPL anyway, and that's when Terry came and contacted me. But I've been trying to fill the hole of what I had at East since I left East, like with close mates, because like football's a different thing for everyone. Like some people go to win trophies, which is great. Some people go for money, that's great. Some people play because they want to enjoy it with their mates, and I'm probably one of those sorts of guys where I could play in a team that's shithouse, but play with my best mates and enjoy it, or play in a team that's killing everyone but not enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like, so I can totally understand where you're coming from there, and I'm 100% the same. Like it beat me up massively when we all left East. Like I was like, because you hear different shit, like you hear different rumours. Oh, it's a cultural issue. Like they're bad for the team. They're poison. They're chasing money.
The one that did me was the one where it came back through someone else that we were all asking for too much money,
which was completely
never a conversation.
But so it attacks you. It attacks you in what do they call it? Yeah, your credibility and integrity as a person. Like when you're hearing rumours that we're not slagging the club. Like I never once said like. Internally, I might have been fucking fuming, which I was, but like I never publicly slated Glockner or Brownie or any of the guys there. But internally I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
and I don't want to slag Eagles, you know.
No, and you're
far
not.
from
And
it,
you're not.
you know.
But like, I understand where you are when a club's so much a part of your life. Well, that's where I met my wife.
But it's
And
exactly,
that is.
and it's where I
And
met
that's
my
where you
wife.
met your wife.
But the thing is, like, the last year that I was at East, I played reserves the whole year.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why, but it was a case of, do I leave and go elsewhere and try to play first team somewhere else, or do I stay here? I was playing for like Pete Davidson and Liam Safe.
Yeah.
I was playing with like Tomo and Louis and blokes like that. I was still there. I was there with my mates every week, and I'd see these guys are training twice a week as well. So I was like, well, do I really want to give that up while it's still there?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to stay here and play a year of reserves and enjoy myself, and then maybe next year we'll see what happens.
Well, we're like, what's that? This is the 4th season since we basically left, and you just can't replicate it.
Yeah.
As much as you try.
Well,
Like,
let's
I've
see if
been
we all go to
trying to.
Rochedale.
It's a fair shout.
Yeah.
That's why I went.
Yeah, but like that's one thing that like I was Olympic, but like I was still sort of searching for that, and that's when Stenner was in my ear. I'd done my knee mentally. I was the same. I was fucked. Like I was just like I had anxiety going to play games. Like had like young fella, newborn baby, like anxiety problems. Like just tore me to pieces. And having like someone that I knew well, like in Stenner, was like, and Scotty, like obviously, like in my ear, I was like, that's a family club. Like that's what I want. I want that. You know, I've been there 2 years and results have been shit, and I've been fucked for the last 2 years. But it's a good club. Like it's a good, and the people around it is what has kept me there. You know what I mean? Like you could go other places, play for better money, bigger teams or whatever. Well, you can't get a bigger team than Rochedale and Queensland. Let's be honest.
100%.
But
I know what you're saying, and the whole thing about the club itself has a massive, like it plays a massive part, because like that first year that we left, and I went to Capalaba, and I went there because Herf was the coach, and he got me over there. And the year prior, they had a cracking young team, and they overachieved probably, and they did really well, and they were looking really good going forward. I was like, shit, yeah, I want to be a part of that. 3-4 weeks in, half the team had left, so it sort of went to shit. But you rock up the training, and you see Herf doing the best he can, and you see people like Ken Miles and people like that around the club who are still there every single night doing everything they can for you, and it's like, well, I can't walk away from that.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to take, especially if you get heavily involved in a club and then it's ripped out from underneath you. It does affect you definitely.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's why I was touching on the social media side with Ben. Yeah. So then I've got my personal problems. I've had my football rejection. I've gone to Mount Gravatt to try and fix up not only my football life but my personal life. And then I've got some guy on Facebook absolutely blastering me. So, you know, I'm going here, then I'm going back down there, and I couldn't regulate my behaviour.
Yeah.
I could not regulate it. Days I was great, and then other days I was just angry.
Yeah.
Super angry, you know. And then I would take it out on the players at training. You know, my mates, I'd be absolutely blasting them in training. I was like, I can't.
Then that anxiety filters into your team, doesn't it? Like if you're all uptight and like, you know, the players feel that, and then they're probably trying harder to get results, and it's just a landslide. It's just it's not a good feeling.
Throughout the whole thing, like what point did you get to where you said, I've got to do something about this?
Well, I was screaming out for help on my social media. I was posting a lot of stories on Instagram of quotes and music songs and all that sort of stuff. A subtle way of people asking, "Hey, are you all right here?" Like, and that kind of triggered.
Just hoping someone would
pick up on it. Yeah, you know, I didn't want to. I didn't want to.
Yeah, because
I didn't want
to
to have to lower my guard. Yeah,
people's
I didn't want to
faces.
tell anyone. I didn't want to tell anyone that I was struggling. I wanted to keep my persona. I wanted to keep my front. But, you know, subtly I was asking for help. Definitely. You know, I haven't spoken to anyone or anything along those lines. You know, I know I had the problems, and I'm smart enough to realise that. But yeah, subtly, you know, subconsciously I was asking for help, and you learn who your mates are then.
Yeah, you definitely.
You definitely
at
learn
that
who your
point
mates
as
are.
well, like, I don't know about you, but like I've been in times like that where you feel like, you know, you might be subtly reaching out for help, but you don't want to say something because you feel like you might be putting pressure on people who don't need it, or you might feel like you're a bit of a burden or something like
exactly,
that.
And you know,
but as you say, you find out who your mates are, and they're the ones you can.
And that was the thing, is I was feeling rejected for obvious reasons. I was getting a little bit of flack. Football wasn't happening, you know, and my personal life I'm trying to rebuild. It just got too much for me. It really did get too much for me. So that's where I really felt it was kind of the knock-on effect from everything that had happened previous.
Especially as we say, like when you're going through tough times, you know, work or life, whatever. When football is usually the outlet.
Exactly.
And you go to football and it's either just as bad or it's worse.
Yeah.
It's like, well, where do I go now?
You're driving a training, or you're driving to a game, and you're just dreading, fuck, I hope I don't lose. Like, I hope we don't lose again, or like, what's going to happen if we lose? Like, that's that's not a.
And you know, I'm out here on my own.
Yeah,
you know, my parents are in England.
Yeah.
My sisters are in England. I'm no longer married. You know, it's just like, well, why am I here? Like, you know what I mean? So, football was the one thing that I wanted as a constant to keep me here.
Yeah.
And then that was going wrong. It was too hard. Stepping away from Mount Gravatt was the best thing I did. It just gave me a bit of chance to clear my head, and you know, just go and play some golf and step back and.
Well, if
you know,
you want to go
watch
for a
it.
round, mate,
William
just
Golf
down
Club.
the road.
Was there a point then? You just said there about everyone's back home, family, and this and that, and the football wasn't. Was there any point where you just thought, I might go back home here? I might go back to England?
Never.
No. Australia's too good.
No, you know that. You
I know
know.
that. Yeah. But I thought it was a question worth raising. Going off what you said.
Definitely, you know, I'm a determined bloke. You know, I want to make a life out here, and I've been here long enough to have a life. So there was no point giving all that away. Especially if I went back to England, where the weather's shit, the people are idiots. You know, there's no
allegedly.
I thought they all come out here.
You know, there's no job opportunities. You know, I wouldn't be able to get on the property market because I've been out of the country for so long. Plus, I owe the British government £20,000 for student loans that I'm never going to pay. So, you know, I didn't really want to go. Every time I sit back in, I get a phone call. Oh, you see, we're back in the country. You're not getting it. You know, so it's yeah, you know, my quality of life out here is brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, and my life is here, so I never once thought about giving it up.
Yeah.
But you know, I needed a bit of help.
Needed a break as well.
I needed a break, and then I needed some help to just rebuild it again.
Was it the boys from Eagles that reached out?
Oh,
to
yeah. It was always always
they
the
were
Eagles
first
boys.
ones?
You know, they are great blokes. You know, you know them as well as I do. You know, they are great blokes that. You know, they're lifelong friends. You know, I went into Eagles from Force, and they were already close knit, and then obviously a load left, and then we rebuilt it again with the ones that stayed. And yeah, you know, I was with them yesterday. You know, it's that's one thing that will never change is those boys.
I know they are good lads.
Yeah, they are good lads. Really good lads.
Any anecdotes? Any funny stories? And I remember we played against you and you mooned the crowd.
Yeah, that's probably my most bizarre yellow card, I think.
Must have been the largest moon that I've ever seen.
She's a full moon.
Yeah, it was at Eagles. We were playing Bayside. I was playing at the back. Mully was tearing me a new arsehole, and I was like, I'm fucking over this. And he scored 2. Then Swizz got sent. Yeah, so he got sent off after about 35 minutes for actually putting a tackle on me. And then I got moved up front, and Link's parents, family. Yeah. Contingent, whatever they were just absolutely smashing me. I think Farmer's lot might have been involved there as well. All game, smashing me, abusing me
from the
sideline on the Oxford Street side there, and the ball gets played over the top. You know, I slotted it, went through on goal, blistering pace, slotted it bottom left,
Crouchy.
And then I went over to them and I just dropped my pants and showed them my arse as I celebrated.
As you do.
Yeah.
To which Anton shit in a tin ran over to me and said. Ran over to me and said, Roger, what did he do? I said, nothing. So he said, well, I've heard that you pulled your pants down. I said, well, did you see it? He goes, no. He goes, well, here's a yellow then. I was like, I thought I dodged a bullet there. Anyway, I went upstairs and...
Link wasn't happy, was he?
Yeah, Link and I nearly had a fight in the bar upstairs. But then, I put it on Facebook and now we tag each other every year and kind of see the funny side of it. But they were good rivalries versus Bayside.
It would have been worse if you showed him the front side.
They wouldn't have seen much. So, so that's probably the most bizarre yellow card.
Training ground bus stops. I know we've spoke about this in the past. Like, you obviously had a close knit but physical squad.
Yeah.
And when you got close knit and physical squad, emotions run high, testosterone's through the roof, and things happen.
Yeah, I've had training fights myself. That's the way it goes. But one player in particular, and you've coached him as well. Scotty Bredag.
Oh fuck! I've got 2 fight stories about Scotty Bredag.
Jesus Christ! when Scott, you wouldn't believe it now, is the most mellow bloke ever, coaching up in Bundaberg, and
nicest guy you'll ever
meet. And he's all of a sudden he's just flipped this switch. But he had a fight in Eagles training, and Scott was one of those blokes that when he got angry, he lost his hearing.
Yeah,
that was it. It was blinkers on. I can't hear a thing. And there's an English boy that we had there, and then Scott, and they came together. And I'm just in the middle of training. I'm thinking, shit, do I let them go? Do I not let them go? And I just let them go. And
Scott win.
It was. I was quite scared, like over nothing, over a shit pass or something like that, and they had to go at each other, and then they just came in.
Well, I'll give you the. I mean, we talk about Burnsy.
Oh,
Scotty and Burnsy had a bit of a. They had a coming together that did get split.
Yeah.
Because at the same point, you're thinking, do I stop this? I'm thinking, I've got to stop this. This is going to go. But the other one with Scotty Brittau was a funny one. It was like an 8v8 in training. And Rasmussen's in midfield, Scotty Brittau's up top, and it was bouncing off Scotty. To be fair, every time it went in, he was trying to bring it in. It was fucking over there and over there.
Touch like a trampoline.
So Rasmussen's getting a bit pissed off, because he's winning the ball and he's playing it through.
Yeah.
And I think something has been said, like Raz has went, Scotty, any chance, just fucking hold the ball, man. And Scotty playing up top has went, it's like, well, do you want to go like that? So Raz thought it meant, does he want to go up front? So he's like, I fucking do. So he started walking, and then Scotty's come towards him. Raz has shit his pants. He's like, whoa, Scotty, no, I didn't mean that.
Oh wait, man.
He was proper, like the moonwalk was on and everything. Moving backwards. Oh, quality.
Yeah, I think so.
Scotty Brittau, great lad.
Definitely. And I had fighter. As you know, I had physical players at Eagles. Players that I liked.
Yeah.
As I saw in myself, I wanted on the pitch. Sean Dunleavy. What an animal.
My God.
That man was an absolute animal. I remember him decking Lewis Colcott from Grange Thistle to the point that you heard his teeth clatter against each other. I saw him smack at Proctor when we played against Nabby.
He was trying to kick Nabby.
He was trying to hit Nabby, but he hit Procky.
I made sure he knew about it when I scored that free kick and ran up in his face.
It was all triggered by the complete Fruit Loop that we had in goal in Dozzi as well. What a lad he is! He's at the picnic, but he's forgot his sandwiches.
Well, Dozzi was
he
one.
never even made them.
But we were great mates. Dozzi and I were great mates. But on the field, again, he couldn't listen. He just didn't listen, and he was just on his own planet. But at the same time, what a goalkeeper he was.
Keeper.
But you couldn't coach him.
Nah, well, when we signed him, we were desperate for a keeper. Link Thew says, "Oh, what about Matt Tubbs?" I went, never heard of him. And I'd not been coaching long, not been here long. He says, "No, he's really good." He said, "But you got to talk to him the right way." He's a bit, and I went, "None about it." He said, "No, I'm telling you." And with the dressing room I had, with all them fighting each other every week, I said to Tubbs, I said, "Do you want to sign him?" I was like, "Yeah." He says, "But I only
say it that enthusiastically."
No, he said, "Yeah, but I only want to train once a week."
Yeah.
And because of all the characters in the dressing room, I was like, "Mate, not a problem. You don't have to train at all." So he just turned up for games.
Yeah.
I said, "I don't want you training," because I knew if he was at training, there was going to be more fights.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already stopping one a week.
Yeah.
I didn't need one a session.
And that's the thing is, when I had him at Eagles, he was worth 9 points a season for me.
He was brilliant for you.
He was worth 9 points. How many times was he in Save of the Week or Save of the Year and all that sort of stuff? Save of the month. He's the quality of a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He could have gone so far if he wasn't just completely mental.
Well, look, we've come to the end of the half. The referee's about to blow the whistle.
Must be an extra time.
Anton shit in a tin.
And he's going to give you a yellow. Getting your arse out. Rog, again, same as the first half with Timmy. You've opened up. Really appreciate that coming on and for hosting us.
Yeah, for sure.
Been a really enjoyable morning this. So hopefully the listeners like it.
Yeah,
hopefully they can relate to a few things as well, people, because stories that we've heard this morning, like a lot of people probably, maybe are going through stuff like that or can relate to someone who is, but don't really feel comfortable in reaching out and talking about it. So hopefully that sort of gives someone an avenue.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I haven't spoken about my personal problems publicly until now. You know, my close circle of friends have known, but you know, I've not really, you know, spoken in a big group. So I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Great.
Glad you have it. It takes a tough bloke to come on and do that.
100%.
I think feedback, positive feedback's always appreciated.
Be gentle.
But look, if there's anything that you'd like to see us do, I know that one of the things was they were a little bit too long, so we're going to try and shorten them and condense them and whatnot. But look, Timmy's already basically said if anyone's struggling with the same type of thing that he struggled with, get in touch with us, or direct to Timmy if you can. And if you need shin pads, Roger can. So
I want to go on one of these end of season trips.
Yeah.
But
getting into the subs.
We got you can check us out on social media as well. I think it's at the podcast, at the Subs Bench Podcast, at Instagram, and the Subs Bench on Facebook, and the link to the podcast will be up on
in the description.
And the description on both of those, linked to YouTube. So check us out, give us a like.
We've got a few messages come into the page.
Yeah, a few have slid into the DMs already.
So keep sending those through.
Look, lads, you're doing a great job from a personal perspective, because you're all involved in the game. You're not some armchair fan who's not got any experience in playing. With no disrespect to the lads who are out there, but this is real football talk here. This is what the game's about. This is grassroots. So keep up the good work. Keep getting the guests on. Because for me, that'll keep me interested. It'll not be some armchair fan predicting that North Pine's going to beat Lions because he's got a feeling. It's proper. It's proper football chat.
We'll keep expanding, like with the guests that we're going to get on. So we're going to talk some women's football.
Yeah.
In the next couple, and a few other things.
We're going to try and get a couple of referees on.
Yeah.
Anton.
Maybe we'll give Anton a
run.
I'd love to be here for that one.
chance to redeem himself.
Bring up the moon. Pull the pants
But it's
down.
all about putting our perspective out there, and the stories and the banter. Everyone's got stories of their own.
Yeah.
It's good to get that out in the open with the other football chat.
That's per normal. If you got someone, if you got stories, shout them out. Let us know.
Drop us a message.
There's getting a lot of love for Matt Heath on the socials. We might have to run the football superstar ad. Was it his little YouTube clip?
Corey on there too.
Yeah, there'll be a couple.
He sleeps next to the box set, so
doesn't he?
Sure
Julian Zillo was on it as well, wasn't he?
There's a couple.
Yeah, way back. Jack Petrie.
Yeah. Jack Petrie. Shout out Heidelberg.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks again, lads. Dusty.
Cheers, Gaff.
Nabby. TC. Rog again.
Thank you.
And Xander, the producer. Getting well paid for this now. Got a pay rise. All right. Thanks everyone, and we'll be back in a few weeks' time, I think.
Look forward to it.
Cool. See ya.
Cheers, guys.